I am giving away 12 booster boxes of Mega Evolution, which is the next main series Pokemon card set. It comes out September 26th. I'm going to give subscribers 12 booster boxes. And if you want to be one of those lucky winners, all you got to do is just scroll down, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And then you're going to want to come back on Friday, September 12th to learn how you can be one of the lucky winners. So scroll down, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on because why not? And then come back on Friday, September 12th to learn how you can be one of those winners of a new booster box for free of Mega Evolution. Good luck. So the new Mega Charizard EX Ultra Premium Collection has been announced. There's been pictures of it. I figured it's been a while since we talked about this one right here, the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection from the Sword and Shield era. Now this is it's a relatively interesting product just because of the way that it released. If you were around when it first came out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The issues that we're going through now with Pokemon cards being difficult to find, it was happening then also, but we were at a point where things were getting better. Celebrations had released, a couple sets had released, things were calming down a little bit, and then they announced this bad boy, and everybody lost their minds. The idea was that product was going to be extremely limited. Allocations were going to be very tough for local game stores, and that was the word that Pokemon spread to distribution. Distribution said, hey, yeah, there is a new Ultra Premium Collection that is going to feature Charizard. It's going to have alternate arts in it. It's going to have a mix of Sword and Shield packs in it. It was great. It's a great product. It really is. But it's going to be limited. It's going to be difficult. And because of that, people lost their minds. And pre-orders for this product were selling for, $250, somewhere around there, double MSRP. The MSRP on this was about $120, I think $119.99. And people were losing their minds. They were buying them up $250, $300 before we really got firm allocations or anything like that. And when allocations came, it was a low amount. To give you a little bit of context, we got 3 times as many Celebrations Ultra Premium Collections as we did Charizard Ultra Premium Collections. Now that would fix over time. More of these came. But Pokemon did something that they really hadn't done before, and they started mass feeding this product to big box retailers. And because of that, drop accounts on Twitter were advertising sites like Walmart and Best Buy, who had pre-orders up for the Charizard UPC for days. I remember streaming on a Wednesday afternoon, and the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection dropped at Walmart, and people were shocked because it lasted the entirety of the stream. And it got to a point where people were actually nervous that pre-orders were going to get canceled. They were like, Walmart's going to cancel. There's no way they have this many. But it turned out they did. They had so many of them, and so many continued to get pumped out that when Ultra Premium Collections released in October, they were discounted right away, right out of the gates. At Target, you could go and find them for $100. They were basically on a clearance rack right away. I hate the mindset of, well, you should have bought it then. Why didn't you buy it then? A lot of people come and go in Pokemon. That's the great thing about Pokemon, is it fits in with your schedule. So a lot of people probably had already exited the hobby or maybe weren't around in Pokemon when the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection came out. And right now, we've gotten to a point where Sword and Shield is in such demand that the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, which we're going to look at here in a minute here, has jumped up to almost $400. So this box that you could have for $90 a piece a couple years ago has skyrocketed to almost $90 or almost $400. Is it worth it? Like, is buying this, keeping it sealed or opening it, really worth it? Well, that's what we are going to look at in this video, the contents of this Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, because they released the contents of the Mega Charizard EX Ultra Premium Collection, and it slaps. Like, I think it looks amazing. I think it looks beautiful. I love the artwork on the Mega Charizard, and you can let me know what you think in the comment section down below. A whole slew of packs, including Mega Evolution packs, but also Destined Rival packs. I think it's going to be a very sought after product for a very long time. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and you should buy inflated prices on the Mega Evolution Ultra Premium Collection. What I am saying is you should look for as many opportunities as you can to find that product as close to MSRP as possible. if you can find it. And maybe history will repeat itself and it will be all over the shelves, kind of like this bad boy right here. But let's take a look at how the Ultra Premium Collection has been doing, because it's insane. So it's been a minute since we last looked at the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. I think it's been several months. Back when we last looked at it, it was like, I don't know, $40 above MSRP, around $160. But you can see in September of 2024, that's where it was, $154.07. So that was right before really the boom happened. But it hasn't gone through, I mean, you can see there's been a little bit of a blip where quantity of sales has slowed a little bit. And you do have that one brief time in May where all of a sudden 100 of them sold. Now, we did have a TCG player cashback event that happened at that time, so those could coincide, but for the most part, it's been fairly consistent as far as the amount of sales. As the price has gone up, it's slowed down a little bit, but now you're looking at a $378 box, but it's really the contents inside that kind of set this apart, especially from, you can't compare it to like the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection because it's apples to oranges. Yeah, the Celebrations has metal cards in it. It's got a mix of packs, most of them being Celebrations, but then some lower end Sword and Shield stuff. This is basically just the higher end Trainer Gallery Sword and Shield booster packs that are inside, plus the alternate art Charizards that are inside, the Charizard V, the Charizard V-Star, and the Charizard V-Max, and they are all difficult to grade, and we'll look at that in a second here, but you can see just massive growth over the past year, and a lot of it also happening consistently. There was a brief period of time from April to May where it kind of leveled off right around that $260 point, and then really started jumping back up. So in a market where a lot of stuff has retraced, especially when it comes to singles, Seal Product has still done fairly well, but the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection has just continued to climb. Really no blips of retraces at all. That's why it's up 136% right now, sitting at $378.19 and continuing to climb. Here is one of the Charizards that's inside. This one was actually the cheapest for a very, very long time, and you can see that if you go back to September of 2024, it was sitting at $6.59. This is the alternate art V. I can't even talk. Got the Venusaur in the background. It looks like Charizard just burned down the forest. It's really cool. It's like the Golurk from Evolving Skies goes and rebuilds the forest, and then Charizard just burns it down. I don't know. That's just stuff I make up. The lore is just so cool to me. Started climbing quite a bit, and then in December, leveled off a little bit all the way up until June. Didn't really retrace, just kind of leveled off, and then took the next step forward. Now, it has retraced a little bit. It's dropped about 10% over the past month. It jumped up to 35.07. Now it's sitting at 31.55, but again, very strong growth, looking at about 361%. You do have that blip of time again in May where it got bought up. Again, one of those weeks was because of the TCG player cashback deal, but little sus. Here's the Charizard VMAX right here. This for the longest time was the most expensive of the three. Now it's pretty much leveled off with the Charizard V, and the Charizard V-Star is actually the most expensive. In September of 2024, this was $14.24. Started climbing a little bit, relatively slow. You can see when a lot of other stuff like shot up like crazy, special illustrationers, alternate arts right around November, December, around that time. This one was very slow growth all the way up until June, and then retraced a little bit, fell back below $18, and now it's really started growing quite a bit again. So now it's up about 124%, sitting at 32.02, so that's an all-time high for this card. And there were so many Charizards out there, so many Charizard Ultra Premium Collections out there, so many of these raw copies, graded copies, they were all over the place. They are all over the place, but this card continues to climb. And you compare it to some of the other promo cards that we've had historically, like the Rainbow Stained Glass Birds, if you want to call it Rainbow. I don't know why I do. Stained Glass Birds from Hidden Fates. There were a lot of Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes printed, a lot of them. There were a lot of Shamans that were printed in the Generations Elite Trainer boxes. This is kind of along the same lines as that. So very strong growth, but definitely still room on this. And it wouldn't surprise, I don't think, anybody if it continued to climb. Here's the Charizard V-Star, following a somewhat similar path to the Charizard VMAX. Didn't really retrace, but leveled off very, very nicely from December of 2024 all the way up until June of 2025. So about 6 months where it hovered right around that $31 mark. This is by far, like I said, the most expensive. In September of 2024, it was $13.17, hit about $32, $33 in December, and then stayed that way until June. Now it's over doubled in price. So this one does have blips of buyouts that happen. I don't want to call it manipulation. It could just be buyouts. It could just be one sell
seller or a handful of buyers who really, really like the card. I have no idea. But it is a little weird. All of a sudden jumped up 395%. Now it's sitting at $66.22. And it's not just the raw copies that are growing. FOMO is a huge thing. A lot of graded cards are growing as well. So here's the Charizard V alternate art right here. You can see a lot of copies that have already been graded. There's 7,045 of them in a PSA 10, but 18,124 in a PSA 9. That goes to tell you just how difficult these are to grade. And the reason behind it is because all three of them and the code card are basically just jumbled together in the same sealed pack, and then they're just placed in one of the drawers of the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. So they shuffle around a lot, especially in transit. There's a lot of air in there, so it's not, they rub up against, it's not uncommon for them to get surface scratches or edge wear or anything like that. So it is a very difficult card to get a PSA 10 copy of, and that's why it's grown so much. 7,045 of them in PSA 10, but you can see the last PSA 10 sales are right around $340, $350. So about 10 times the worth in PSA 10 as what it is near mint raw. So that's why a lot of people take that chance and grade it. Here's the Charizard VMAX right here. Same thing, a little bit more than 10% of the value for raw copies as opposed to a PSA 10. But again, very difficult to grade. This one a little bit better. 8,857 PSA 10 copies, 17,270 PSA 9 copies. So a little bit less than half. Or a little bit more than half in PSA 10 than there is in PSA 9. So a little bit better of a ratio than that Charizard V, but it does sell for a little bit better also. So about $415, $420 is what the PSA 10 copy goes for on eBay or wherever the PSA copies are being sold. Here's Charizard V-Star right here. This is, again, most expensive one. And again, the PSA 10 copy is shot up like crazy. This one a little bit more difficult to grade, kind of like the Charizard V that we just looked at. 21,625 PSA 9s as opposed to only 8,178 PSA 10s. So that about 40% PSA 10s as opposed to PSA 9. So about close to 1/3. But $685, $700 basically is what this is going for right now in a PSA 10. So a lot of people taking that chance, buying a near mint copy at $66, looking to turn that into a $700 card by grading it and flipping it. That's kind of just the way things are right now, especially with all the card shows that are going on, all those big numbers that you see in vendor POVs and things like that. But about 10% the value for a near mint raw copy as opposed to a PSA 10. So that's why a lot of people taking that risk right now. It's very interesting to compare these also on Amazon. The Charizard V-Star you can't really find on Amazon. The Charizard VMAX pretty much sold out, or the Charizard V pretty much sold out on Amazon. For the longest time, a lot of people would buy raw copies, especially of this card, because they sold so much better on Amazon, and then they would buy them and flip them on Amazon. We've seen that historically with a lot of cards, Mega cards in the past, Primal cards in the past. One of the big ones was the Dragon Mega Rayquaza from Roaring Skies. A lot of people would buy up TCG Player near mint copies, which is why that was the most expensive one for the longest time, and then they would flip it on Amazon. So not happening as much right now as far as sales go for these Charizard copies. That was happening for a very long time. The Charizard VMAX still relatively easy to buy on Amazon, sells for about $5, $6 more than what it does on TCG Player. So a lot of people not really buying to flip on Amazon because the fees aren't really there, but the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection in a sealed box is selling better on Amazon than what it does on TCG Player. So selling on Amazon for about $450 as opposed to the $380 that it's selling right now on eBay and TCG Player, unless you buy a sealed case. Sealed case is even more expensive right now. For a long time, you could buy sealed cases at a discount because it would be, closer to a bulk purchase. But now a sealed case is selling for, closer to that $2,000 mark. $1,700 was like the cheapest I could find on eBay because people want to have that sealed case, because once you rip open a sealed case, you can't go back to it basically. So here are the packs that you get inside the Ultra Premium Collection. Again, a very strong variety, and outside of Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage, it's pretty much the banger sets from Sword and Shield that people really, really love. And Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage, only one of each. So, but the pack prices from the Sword and Shield era, there's been a lot of Sword and Shield product that has been printed, but a ton of Sword and Shield product that has been open. If you compare it to what we are going through right now, feel like a lot more people are saving sealed. There was a lot of people saving sealed during the Sword and Shield era, but now it's probably even a massively higher amount of people selling or holding sealed product right now as opposed to what there was during Sword and Shield. Pictures of like, people holding Prismatic Evolutions and Surging Sparks and Destined Rivals and all these sealed products all over the place. Sealed packs left and right everywhere. Makes you wonder, okay, well, how much Sword and Shield sealed product is really out there still compared to what we're seeing through Scarlet and Violet. Just things that make you think a little bit. But Darkness Ablaze currently selling for $7.23. Vivid Voltage selling for $6.48. So you get one of each of those. Evolving Skies, obviously the big one. And because those are more and more difficult to find, you're not going to find those really in collection boxes out there anymore or tins out there, anything like that. They continue to climb. Currently at $29.15 for a single loose pack. You get 3 of them inside the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. So that right there, is closing in on $100 just from Evolving Skies. Fusion Strike continues to climb as well. You get 3 Fusion Strike booster packs in there. Those are currently selling for $12.17. Brilliant Stars starting to climb a little bit. You get 3 of those in the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. Those are selling for $7.31 a piece. Astral Radiance, you get 3 of those. Those are selling for $6.60 a piece. And then Lost Origin, you get 2 of those selling currently for $10.36 a piece. Your grand total when it comes to booster packs, so this is just the booster pack contents, $200.12 just for the booster pack. So that's not including the promos or the mat or the coins or the damage counters or anything like that. So if we break it all down right here, and the number in parentheses is the last time that we looked at this. So, 10 months ago, 8 months ago, somewhere around there. Booster packs alone, you're looking at about $200.12. Last time we looked at this, $107.84. So that was prior to the boom, basically doubled in price right now. The ancillary products have stayed the same. That's your Charizard mat, play mat that's inside, your dice, your coins, those kinds of things. You're looking at about $15. Those are selling all day on eBay for $15, and a lot of them don't sell at all. And the promos that are inside. So they were about 8 months ago selling for $53.12. Now they're selling for $129.69, and that is if they are raw near mint copies. Now you could very well open up one of those promo packs and they could be already below near mint. We've seen that happen many times. Pack fresh cards that have opened up and they've already been, a PSA 7, PSA 8, basically right out of the pack. Or you could get really lucky and one of them could hit PSA 10, which would obviously exponentially change the price point of this. But right now you're looking at $129.69. If we add all 3 of those numbers together, you're looking at $344.81. So about double the cost or about double the value of what it was 8 months ago when we looked at this. The difference is these are selling right now for about $380. If you remember going back to the first page here, selling for $378.19. The contents inside only worth about $344.81 if you open it up. I don't know if a lot of people are really opening up Charizard Ultra Premium Collections right now. But if you open it up and keep everything as is, $344.81. If you do open it up and you do get lucky and you grade one of them, or if you grade all 3 of them, the Charizard V-Star comes back at 10, forget about it. That's a $700 card. The Charizard V-Max gets a 10. That's a $405 card. Or the Charizard V gets a 10. That's a $340 card. Well, if any one of those gets a 10, obviously that pays for the Charizard UPC by itself, basically, which is crazy. But obviously the market is very volatile. So it's really about making sure that you stick to your collection budget and making the best decision for you. I don't know if a lot of people are going out and buying Charizard UPCs and opening them up. Right now, I think looking and studying and understanding what happened with the last Charizard UPC, which there was an enormous amount of, and then trying to make a decision for the upcoming Charizard UPC, the Mega Charizard EX UPC, that best fits into your collection budget, that's probably the best route to go. So don't necessarily go out and buy this and be like, oh, well, I can grade one and it'll pay for the box. I don't know if that's a great idea, because if you look, obviously, very difficult to get a 10. You are more than likely to get a 9. And a 9 basically sells for, like the Charizard V-Star, it sells for, $5 more than what the near mint ungraded version. So $43 for the Charizard VMAX. The Charizard VMAX is like $38. $38, $39.50 for the Charizard V. The Charizard V near mint draw is like $32, $33. So even a 9, not going to really get your value out of it. That's why you got to be really, really careful. But I thought it was interesting to look at as things continue to age. It's not really that far off, especially if you compare it to booster boxes. You know, you open up an Evolving Skies booster box, or you buy one to open up. And I don't know why anybody would do that, but you're paying, what, $2,600 for the box right now. And you could pull an Umbreon VMAX that grades a PSA 10, or you could pull one that you just keep near mint raw, and that's only, what, $1,400. And chances are you're probably not going to pull it. So your expected value of pulls in an Evolving Skies probably like $400 or $500 at the best case scenario. Just make sure you are careful out there when it comes to your spend. Obviously, when you overspend, the hobby becomes less fun, and then you exit a lot sooner. So I want you to stay around as long as possible, because it is a fun hobby, and it's good to look at all this stuff and try and understand things and make sense of everything. But just be careful. Hopefully, we can learn from the past, and hopefully, we get another situation where the Mega Charizard Ultra Premium Collection is widely available. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. So I wanted to put this information out there so you had it. I hope you liked the content. If you did, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. But ultimately, thank you just for being here, for watching, for listening, for anything that you do, all the things that you do. Just, you guys are amazing. I love you. We'll be back on Friday with another video. Until next time, peace.